What's up, everybody? It's Glenn back with Big Jack. Sorry for not bringing you a video last week, but we're back with the Bears State of the Union recap preview video that we bring to you weekly. Coming off a heartbreaker, losing 20-19, I believe it was, or 21-19 to the Packers at home on a last-second blocked field goal, about 40 yards out. Santos. Coming off a heartbreaker. Again, they brought the juice, they brought the energy, they showed some pride. They really battled tough, but ultimately fell a little bit short. You feel a lot better about a loss like last week, even though it's heartbreaking compared to the week before where they just kind of lay an egg against the Patriots. Since we've last talked, Shane Waldron out as offense coordinator. Thomas Brown has been inserted. He seemed to bring a good game plan last week, and I'm excited to see what happens this week. Jack, where's your heads at after last week's performance, maybe the last 2 weeks if you want to talk about it?
Yeah, I mean, last 2 weeks, if you want to go back to the Patriots game, was just atrocious. No other way to put it. Absolutely pathetic, pitiful performance, pitiful effort. Everything was just complete garbage. That was embarrassment. Past week, obviously, you get a little bit of a bump from the Shane Waldron firing. It seems to happen across the league. Coach gets let go for whatever reason. Guys seem to rally around it, rally around each other, and put in a shift that next week, which is exactly what the Bears did. I think Thomas Brown, as a play caller, showed his teeth a little bit. I like the way that Roshan really got involved with the offense in ways that he hadn't been prior to last week. I look for that to continue. A little more smash mouth football with him in the backfield. I like a little bit of the simplicity. Seemed like we weren't doing as much at the line, kind of getting the plays, rolling with it. Probably a lot of that has to do with a little bit more of or at least what seemed like a little bit more of a commitment to the run game, which I thought was good. And yeah, terrible to lose a game like that. You feel like it's two now where you feel like Caleb Williams has gone and led you on that comeback game-winning drive, and the Hail Mary, you just totally fucked that up, and then blocked kick. So feel good for the most part. Unfortunately, as much as I hate to say it, we're sort of at that point in the season where losses aren't the end of the world, given the way that things have gone for draft stock. But at the same time, I'll always argue that there's value in winning football games, especially since I do think we're committed to, Caleb Williams long term. I think I've seen a decent amount that I never saw from a couple of the other guys that we've had in recent history, where I do feel a strong confidence that he will be the guy for the future. So I think it's good to win football games. I think it's good for him. I think it's good for his confidence and just getting better for the future moving forward. And to be frank, what's the difference between the 9th pick and the 14th pick? I really don't know. If you could if you could calculate and assign a value to that, I guess theoretically you can, but given the way that Ryan Poles is drafted anyway, I don't care. I would rather see some wins down the stretch than to totally lose out and have zero momentum into next year. But yeah, last week was tough because now it's 11 in a row against the Packers. That's the longest drought one way or another in that rivalry over the course of history. It's to the point now where you can't even refer to it as a rivalry. It's been hammer and nail the past 5-6 years now. It's pitiful.
Yeah, it's pathetic. And it's just, like you said, it just takes all the wind out of the sails, like the Washington game, this past game, where your young rookie quarterback is doing everything that you could ask for in crunch time out of a young rookie quarterback, and the rest of the team just doesn't get the job done. It sucks. The one other thing with the Thomas Brown change that I noticed last week is the previous week before against the Patriots, we give up 9 sacks. Last week, before the last drive, before the 2-minute drill, which they did kind of move the ball successfully. Before that drive, they'd only give up 1 sack. They did give up 2 sacks on the 2-minute drill, but so 3 sacks overall, really 1 sack before that last drive. Ball getting out quicker. We'll see what the game plan is this week against the Vikings, but I'd expect some more of the same. It really just seems more like a true, more modern NFL offense trying to get the ball out quick. But yeah, we move to this week. If people watched the best bets of the NFL weekend video, you like the Bears this week, especially against the spread, plus 3.5 as home dogs. A place where they've been pretty good over the last couple of years. 3.5 points feels like you like having the hook there on your side, going again in a divisional game. What are some of your overall thoughts before we get into your keys? What are some of your overall thoughts about this game coming up this week versus the Vikings?
I think you bring up a good point about getting the ball out fast. It's going to be, huge to do that this week as well, because Brian Flores, what he likes to do on all the defensive side of the ball, he's going to be bringing all types of exotic looks, trying to confuse Caleb. He's got one of the highest blitz rates in the NFL over the course of his tenure, all the way dating back from his time in New England through head coach in Miami till now. He's been the same guy. And he's had a hell of a lot of success doing it. So, why would he change? But you're going to have to get it out because he's going to be looking to attack all week for sure. And yeah, general thoughts, I think it's more of the same. We got Cole Kmet involved last week. It was good to see that. I wasn't sure if he was even on the roster anymore. I don't know if he was getting tied up in too many leadership committee duties where he just had meetings during the games or something. I'm not entirely sure what was happening, but it was nice to get that sighting. Like I said, Roche Khan, getting him the ball. I look for that to continue. I was a little nervous when I saw Doug Kramer come back on the field last week, even though Waldron was gone. I was like, wait a minute. But they did the right thing, even though he didn't block his soul, just put his head down, ran right in between three guys, made contact with nobody.
Shit. It's somebody.
Yeah, but Roshan still found a way in. But yeah, I think moving forward, it sucks. I don't feel one way or another about Waldron. I feel like it's kind of shitty that he ends up being the scapegoat.
Yeah.
But the way they looked, maybe he was a big part of the problem. I guess we'll find out as the rest of the season sort of plays itself out. But yeah, I'm overwhelmingly positive. I look for that short-term success they found last week to continue and turn into something we can build on going into next season for Caleb Williams' career.
I hope so. And to your earlier point about draft stock, is it the point in the season where wins hurt us more than losses because draft stock, draft pick order, whatever. I personally, we're not picking a quarterback this upcoming draft. We're going to be picking probably somebody in the trenches with the first round, if I had to guess. Like you said earlier, does the 9th versus 14th pick matter all that much? I mean, maybe a little bit, but I'd rather see our quarterback develop, gain some confidence heading into year 2, rather than lose out like you alluded to, and maybe kill his confidence heading into year 2. So I'd like to see the Bears go out, get some wins, compete every step of the way, see if you can find something going into next year, although we're hoping the coaching staff sees some overhaul. With that being said, with me wanting to get a win, how do the Bears find a win this week against the Minnesota
Vikings? Just really quickly to that point, like I even if they go, outside of winning out, which I wouldn't be surprised if they still cut bait, but I think we're past that point.
Yeah.
There's just no way you could bring Eberflus back. He's lost games in historic fashion that is directly traces back to decisions that he made along the way that are just unfathomable. There's no way he's coming back. Even just the hires he's made. He's fired 3 or 4 coordinators now. It's it's impossible for him to retain his job in my eyes. So I think wins aren't gonna lead you to be like, oh well, maybe Eberflus will save his job. I think it's past that point. The Bears just have never fired anyone in the season. I don't think they will now. But looking ahead to this week, like you said, I do like the Bears this week. I think they can find a way to get it done, um, even in years where they've had significantly worse teams. In my opinion, they've always competed with the Vikings. It's been a good matchup for them for one reason or another. But key number one for me this week. A lot of people were a little down on him going into the season because of the quarterback situation. Justin Jefferson has proven that in a league full of insane talent at the wide receiver position, there's no one above him. He is top dog. The guy's an absolute menace on the field week in and week out. And Jalen Johnson's been great. Key number one for me, follow him around, man. Shadow that dude. I know Eberflus is just kind of plays the same defensive play and call, sits in that shell every snap. Be a man. Go up to him. Let him know I'm going to follow 18 around all week. I'm going to be in his pocket. Shut him down. If you're a really top corner, the way that Jalen Johnson, he's played as such. But if you are that guy, if you are Revis Island and all that type of shit, that's the type of guy who's wherever Justin Jefferson's lining up, you see him across. That's what I want all week. I want Jalen Johnson to be his shadow. No matter what they do with him, I want him following him all over the field, each and every play. That's key number one, is Jalen Johnson sticking with Justin Jefferson and shutting him down as much as possible.
JJ, Shadow, and JJ. I like the key. Just the thought of Tyreek Stevenson trying to cover Jefferson gives me fucking nightmares and shakes and tremors. So, yeah, I'm with you. He's our top guy. He is one of the best cornerbacks in the NFL. Jefferson, without a doubt, is one of the best wide receivers in the NFL, if not number one. I think if they want to try to get a win, they got to do something that I don't think they do very often or ever, and that's have our lockdown guy try to lock their guy down. So I'm with you. We'll see.
Key number two, we're going highlighting another player, shifting to the offensive side of the ball. Key number two is Rome Odunze. Rome Odunze is significantly better than Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen is questionable. He might not play. I think it would be addition by subtraction. He's fine at times, whatever. If I see Keenan Allen on the football field in 12 personnel instead of Rome Odunze, I'm going to lose my fucking mind. The guy's got no business being on the field in those situations over Rome Odunze. He's clearly better. If you're going to go ahead and make that draft pick and say, hey, we're fine in the trenches, when anyone who has eyes know you have the worst trenches in the world, whatever, then stick by it. Play him, use him, make him be the number one option. If you're going to take a wide receiver in the top 10 of the NFL draft when your defensive line is a train wreck and your offensive line is right behind it, you better fucking use him. So I want Rome Odunze to play a big role this week. I'm not saying it is like it's on Rome, like he's been bad. They just haven't utilized him. You drafted him number 9 overall. Use the fucking guy and use him heavy. I don't know why he isn't getting 10 to 12 to 15 targets week in and week out. And he better get it this week. I think it's a huge key. I think he could make some big plays for you. Get the ball in his hands, get him out quick slants, deep plays, all of it. Feed Rome Odunze all day on Sunday.
Yeah, let's make Rome more of a focal point of the offense. I'm with you. One of the recent videos, maybe 2 weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago, either you or I said, they need to just start using their best players. Komet needs to get back involved. They need Rome over Keenan. This is 2024. This ain't 2020. With all due respect, I do think Keenan's got a place in this offense, but it's not what he's currently being used at. I think he's a short third down type guy. I think he's a red zone threat, security blanket in those situations. He should not be played more than Rome Odunze. Probably anywhere on the field, but definitely not in snap count. Definitely not in 12 personnel. Definitely not in third and longs, etc. I'd like to see Rome continue to growing in his role in this offense, and I'd like to see him head into the offseason knowing he's one of our top 2 guys next year, maybe our top guy, because it seems like DJ's not necessarily taking a step back, but everything I see, Rome looks just as good as that guy too. So I'd like to see Rome get more and more involved as well. Key number three.
Key number three, we're sticking with the trend. It's all personnel. We got Jalen Johnson and Roma Dunze on the Bears side of the football. Key number three is Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones has gashed the Bears over the course of his career. Obviously, that's all been in Green Bay so far, so a little different situation. But he is the feature back in Minnesota. He's having a pretty strong year once again. His success against the Bears has been infuriating over the course of his tenure in the league. They got to limit him this week. They got to shut him down, make Sam Darnold be the playmaker. Don't let him get those big chunk plays that, for whatever reason, he always seems to find against this Bears defense. I need Montez Sweat to show up, give me something. But you got to key on Aaron Jones. Don't let him kill you. Like I said, for whatever reason, he always seems to find a way to turn that 2-3 yard play into a 13, 20 yard gash and rip us up. Can't let it happen. Can't let him get loose. I think you limit him. You sort of keep the ball in Sam Darnold's hands. I like the Bears' chances to keep this game tighter and come out with a victory down the stretch. I think that's tough to call it my most important key because I think I'm leaning on Jalen Johnson to make some plays, but shutting Aaron Jones down is a big one in my eyes.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. He's been a Bears killer. You slow him down, I think you give the Bears a good shot. I remember last year the opener against Green Bay. I was at that game. It was honestly closer than like anybody realizes because it would be close, 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 close. Aaron Jones gash, close, 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 close. Aaron Jones 50-yard catch. Like what the fuck was going on? I don't know. That being said, he's killed us over the course of his career. He is in a different jersey now. If the Bears are going to be successful, they're going to have to slow him down because you don't slow him down, all of a sudden it gets a little harder to control JJ as well. Play action starts working a little bit better too. So I love your keys, especially the two defensive keys. I would like to see the Rome key come to fruition. But I think the other two are huge keys to winning this game. I personally think if the Bears are going to win this game, they're going to have to keep the Vikings to like 16 points or less. I think their team total right now, the Bears, is like 17 and a half. And I'm over here wondering if they even get there, man. This Vikings defense is tough. Brian Flores is tough. I'm hoping, praying it's going to be a more entertaining game than I think, but I'm really worried about it, Big Jack. I'm over here. I know you're on the Bears. As a Bears fan, I'm rooting for them to win. As somebody who tails all your picks, I'm rooting for them to win. But I'm over here really nervous about this game. I'm worried about them laying an egg. I'm worried about them just losing like a 23-6 game or something like that. Just something really gross. Where's your head at with that?
I mean, your concerns are fair. Last year, Bears went, they lose to the Vikings at home and they have a chance to win the game. I think that might have been the Smith Morset strip when he sort of caught like a 12-yard pass, got stripped to close it out. But I don't know. Like I said at the top of this video, they have had worse teams in previous years that compete with the Vikings. I know the Vikings are different. Both teams are different year in and year out, of course. But last year was Brian Flores led defense. He's the same guy, same scheme over there. I understand the concern of, okay, well, Caleb did get it out last week, but previously he hadn't really been doing that. Flores is going to be bringing a lot of heat. That's the way they do things. So if he's not getting it out, we're going to be in trouble. I understand having some trepidation about the offensive line holding up against that sort of pressure. But I don't know, man. I think Thomas Brown, in the 1 week that we got him as a play caller, was doing things differently. And I think that trend will continue. I think there's some accountability in that building that maybe wasn't there before. And I don't know, man. I think Caleb Williams sort of, you hear the reports about him kind of speaking to the team about almost apologizing for what happened to Shane Waldron, taking responsibility because he knows at the end of the day the onus is on him. And I don't know if that's just whatever. Maybe it's a little fakey. I don't really know. I still can't get a vibe on how I feel about Caleb Williams' personality, to be honest. But I think that the way that he played and the way that these other rookie quarterbacks have been playing, and Bo Nix and Jaden Daniels and even Drake May now coming in and beating his ass at Soldier Field, I think it's been a wake up call to Caleb Williams. I think it's rattled his cage. I think he is still the most talented quarterback in the draft, one of the most talented quarterbacks in the league. I think he's got an extremely high ceiling. And I think this is the first time in his life that football has been tough. And what he's kind of seen around the league and the way that it's gone, I think it's jolted him, man. I think he's like, all right, this is it. Let's go. Let's fucking go. And I think he's found a little something, found a little spark last week. I look for that to continue. And maybe it's fool's gold. Maybe it's typical Bears fan in me clinging on to something that isn't necessarily there. But I don't know. For whatever reason, I feel the way I do about this quarterback like I haven't felt about anyone in Chicago other than Jay Cutler. I don't know. Maybe by the end of the season or end of next season, I'll be banging the drum for the next guy. But I don't know. I think we got something special brewing back there in 18. And I think he continues to show it this week.
Right on. All right, so you're on the Bears plus 3.5. You think they win outright? Let me get a score prediction from you.
I think it's going to be tight. Like you said, I do think the defense is going to have to do their part. I'm not saying that this offense is going to, I don't think we're necessarily the type of team that can win in a shootout to begin with at this point in time. And the way that Thomas Brown was calling the offense, I don't think we're going to be marching up and down the field. I think it'll be methodical. I think it'll be keep the other team on the sideline, drain the clock type style, which I'm fine with for right now. I'm going to go Bears 23, Vikings 17.
Okay. I want to be true to myself. I'm going to pick the Vikings to win, even though I'll be rooting for the Bears. I predict something along the lines of 20-10. That's my prediction. All right, we'll be back next week. Like and subscribe at home. Jack, hit it for him one time.
Bears.
Bears.